We good? Okay. Good evening, everyone. And I thank you all for coming to this pre-Pesach shiur, where we're going to be reviewing a little bit of the halachot of preparing ourselves for Pesach. First thing I'd like to do is, before we get to Pesach, as I mentioned a minute ago, there's preparation for Pesach, and as we prepare ourselves for Pesach, there's an interesting halacha that Shulchan Aruch says it's actually not in Hilchot Pesach, but in Hilchot Brachot, in the laws of Brachot. As we know, we are supposed to recite blessings when we are thanking HaKadosh Baruch Hu for eating, for example. But there is other types of blessings where we are thanking HaKadosh Baruch Hu, not necessarily for eating, but for seeing something. So, for example, the Shulchan Aruch says the following in Siman Resh Chaf Vav. Shulchan Aruch says, he quotes the Gemara in Masechet Brachot, "Hayotze b'yimei Nisan v'ro'eh ra'ai lanot shemotzi'in perach." Someone is walking by in the month of Nisan and he sees trees that are blossoming. And we're talking about fruit-bearing trees. In that case, he has to say bracha. Which bracha does he say? He says the bracha, Baruch ata Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam shelo chiser be'olamo klum u'bara bo b'riyot tovot v'ilonot tovot le'anot b'hem b'nei adam. Thanking HaKadosh Baruch Hu, who created the world with beautiful creatures and beautiful trees, in order for us to benefit from it. So, practically speaking, in the month of Nisan, if we see two fruit-bearing trees, and again, if the fruits are already out, it's too late to do so. However, if we see prachim, we see it blossoming, we see flowers coming out, in that case, we have to recite this particular bracha. And we have to do it as soon as possible, which means that if we see these trees, we shouldn't miss this mitzvah. We do it as soon as possible. If there's a possibility to have a minyan and so on and so forth, that is even better. Kabbalah actually teaches us that the idea of reciting these blessings is in order to elevate the neshamot that are residing in those trees. And therefore, if there's a minyan, we could even say Kaddish and think about those neshamot, which is a great thing. However, if again someone sees it, as soon as he sees it or she sees it, they have to recite this blessing. Yes?
This is only for fruit bearing.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So if you see, for example, an apple tree and a cherry tree, or if it could be two trees that are from the same kind, two cherry trees, two apple trees, you recite this bracha. Okay, we move on. We have to prepare ourselves for Pesach. Now, there is a concept out there which is really a misconception. We say we clean our homes for Pesach. It is not cleaning our homes for Pesach. You won't find in any holy book where it's going to say you have to clean your home for Pesach. It does not say that. The Mishnah in Masechet Pesachim, the first Mishnah says the following, and I'll quote, Or le'arba'a asar botkin et ha'chametz le'or haner. What you have to do the night prior to Pesach, you have to check your home for chametz. Which means that you have to make sure that if there is a place where there is chametz, where you brought in chametz, what do you have to do? You have to check it. Now, in order to check it, before that, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to clean. But it doesn't say anywhere that you're supposed to clean the house for Pesach. It's a misconception, and because of this misconception, what happens, and this is something that I remember from my childhood, I do remember my mother before Pesach cleaning, painting, and so on and so forth, which you could say it's a spring cleaning, you could do that, you could say that, but it's not cleaning for Pesach. There's no way, the Gemara doesn't speak about it, the Torah doesn't speak about it, where you're supposed to go and change the whole house and take off your sofas and so on and so forth as a preparation for Pesach. It doesn't say that. Which means that you have to think about, before you're starting the preparation for Pesach, where exactly there is chametz. And only in those rooms you're supposed to clean for Pesach. If there is a place that you know for sure there was no chametz that was brought in, there's no point of cleaning it for Pesach. You could say, I'm cleaning it because I didn't clean it for a long time. But don't say that I am cleaning it for Pesach, because there's no point of cleaning it. Okay, so this is pretty clear. So you have to think about it. If you know that you have small kids who most probably have chametz in their school bags, so then yes, you have to check the school bag. But if you know that there's no in this locker, there's no way that there is chametz. There's no point of checking it for chametz because there won't be any chametz in it. Another thing that we do before Pesach is, and by the way, please, if you have any questions, yeah.
Not a question. I was just going to say that the problem with the fact that Pesach occurs during spring is that people associate spring cleaning with Pesach cleaning, and so you're like, okay, we have to clean for Pesach, so let's already spring clean, and like you said, paint the walls, wash the curtains, take this down. What ends up being is that you start like 2 months in advance, or some people 3 months in advance. They exhaust themselves for the Pesach cleaning. By the time they get to the Seder, they're a wreck, you know, and then they're not really enjoying Pesach. They're just so exhausted, they're not really experiencing the whole idea of Pesach. So, you know, like for my sister, for example, she knows that her kids, she's very strict, her kids do not leave the kitchen with food. So she doesn't even have to clean her whole house. She has to clean her kitchen and her dining room and maybe the living room area, which is attached to the kitchen. That's it. And every year she does the same thing, just those rooms, because she knows 100% that her kids will never take food out of the rooms, out of the kitchen. So that's important to keep in mind, that we're not spring cleaning. You don't have to change the clothes and go through the light fixtures and everything. It's not important. That you can do after Pesach.
Exactly.
When it's still spring.
How about the places where you cannot reach anymore? Like for example, right in the sofa, very
There's no point of cleaning there.
No.
like yeah,
No,
because
it
my
depends.
kids.
You have to try.
Yeah,
you try
try.
your best, and that's it.
Why
the vacuum.
but there's no point of trying. Why? Because maybe there is
There's
chametz there,
There's crumbs.
but
But
crumbs are
children-
not considered chametz according to halacha, by the way, because you are mevatel it, you would nullify it, right?
Really?
Yeah.
There might be whole Cheerios. Whole Cheerios are not considered crumbs. There could be, just use your best, do your best in the sofa with a vacuum, that special piece that goes inside, and that's it.
You know, you remind me. My wife reminds me of the famous story of the Bris Karav who on Erev Pesach went into the kitchen, and he was a Torah giant, really a great Torah luminary, and he went into the kitchen and he made a coffee, and his wife told him, "Hey, Erev Pesach, you're gonna make my kitchen chametz?" So he told her, according to the Shulchan Aruch, it's 100% fine. So she told him, you and your Shulchan Aruch, get out of my kitchen. Okay, so this is what's happening now, where I don't necessarily agree that according to halacha. I mean, obviously, if there is a place that you know there is chametz, you have to check for chametz. Other than that, there's no point of checking there for chametz. There's no chametz there. Now, another thing that we do is we, some of us, prepare the kelim also for Pesach, the utensils for Pesach. Which means that if you have any utensil that you use with chametz, you could use it for Pesach, depending on the utensil. Now, how do you make it kosher for Pesach? So the halacha is very clear. Right? Shulchan Aruch in Siman Taf Nun Aleph says the following. There's a concept, and the concept is kebol'o kach polto. The same way it absorbs chametz, this is the way that it releases chametz. So let's take a practical case. Let's say we have a pot. Right? In the pot, we boil pasta.
Made of metal.
Right? Made of metal. Right? We boil pasta. Now pasta is chametz gamur. How do we make this pot kasher lePesach?
We boil it.
Okay, so the first thing we have to do is we have to wait 24 hours. Why do we have to wait 24 hours? Because for the first 24 hours there is still chametz, that is the taste of chametz that is in the walls of the pot. And if I'm going to make it kosher, there's still chametz that may release, the taste of chametz could be released into the pot, and it's not going to make it in any way kosher. So wait 24 hours. After 24 hours, the taste of chametz that is in is not considered good anymore. So after that, what I could do is the same way that it absorbed by getting chametz into it, is going to release it by me turning it on, putting first of all water inside it, make sure that it boils. Then when it boils all over the pot and outside the walls of the pot, and that is why it is customary for many to put a rock in it, because by having a heavy rock it's going to spill it over, and then that will render it kasher.
Any type of rock? Like any specific type of rock?
No, any rock, anything that you know.
The heavier the better.
The heavier the better. Right? That's one way of making it. Right. That's one way of making it kosher. The other way is, practical way as well, is you take the pot in and you put it into a bigger pot. You could make, for example, put half of it inside, take it out, then turn it, put the other half inside, and that renders it kasher lePesach. Obviously, we have to make sure that the pot is clean before, and if it has any handles, okay, you have to screw the handles off in order for the water to be able to go all over the pot, and then your pot is kasher
If the
lePesach.
handles cannot remove.
If the handles cannot be removed, all depends. If the water could go under the handle, so then there's no problem with it. If it cannot go under the handle, that might be an issue. Okay.
And if it's Teflon?
If it's Teflon, there's no problem. If it depends how you use the Teflon. If you use it with oil,
Yeah.
so there's no problem. According to halacha, you could make it kasher lePesach as well. No problem at all. Okay. So this is, by the way, the general rule. Kibol'o, kach polto. Yes.
Yeah, Rabbi, you said that the taste of chametz
Yes.
will disappear in 24 hours.
Yes.
But I thought, isn't it correct to say that it's not considered anymore chametz because it will spoil, not because of the taste itself, but whatever it was cooked inside, after and the pot is outside for 24 hours, will not be considered anymore food, not just particularly chametz. Just is not considered because as we assume that after 24 hours, whatever it was there will spoil.
Okay, so there is chametz, but it's spoiled chametz. That's what
Which
you're
is
saying.
not considered food anymore,
Fine.
and this is why we do it. Not
Fine.
just because chametz taste will disappear, because
No, it's not disappear, but it's going
There's
to spoil.
nothing in the pot.
yeah, no,
Nothing in the
yeah.
pot.
100%. Now here's another question. Let's say you have a utensil that you use, but the majority of time that you use it is not hot, it's cold. What will be a case? Let's say you have a spoon, and the spoon you use it for your kids, or you use it for cereal, milk and cereal, which is chametz cereal. But sometimes you use it also for soup, chametz soup, which is hot. Okay? But most of the time, again, you use it for cold. What will be the answer for that? How do you make it kosher?
Wash it.
You wash it. Why? Again, this is what the Shulchan Aruch says. The Shulchan Aruch says the following: Kol kli holchin achar rov tashmisho. Every utensil that you use, you have to go according to the majority of its use. הילקח כערות אף על פי שלפעמים משתמשים בהם בכלי ראשון על האש, כיוון שרוב תשמישן בעירוי שמערה בהם כלי ראשון, כך הוא הכשרן. He says that if, for example, you have a pot, you have anything else, you go according to the majority of time, the way that you are using it. So today some people are stringent and they say that there is, maybe I'm using it majority of time, so they make it kosher. But according to halacha, if you know for sure that the majority of time use it for cold, so then it doesn't really absorb any chametz, because if it's cold, it will not absorb any chametz into it. The cereal that you are touching the spoon with is cold, and therefore it doesn't transfer any chametz taste, flavor, and that will be fine by rinsing it. Yes.
Does that apply only to metal spoons? What about a wooden spoon? A wooden spoon absorbs more
Yeah.
than a metal spoon. So let's say I'm using a wooden spoon to mix, I don't know, salad dressing, or to mix what? To mix, I don't know, cake when I make a batter. Okay,
But
so
it's all
that's
cold.
hot. That's cold, I meant to say hot. Oh my gosh. Cold.
Cold.
Cold batter.
Yeah.
I'm using my wooden spoon and it
Yeah.
has flour and
Yeah.
everything. Now, this wooden spoon
Yeah.
is different a material than the metal spoon.
Yeah.
So, if I'm using it most of the time to mix cold. And sometimes I use it to put in soup, to mix the soup
Yeah.
or to stir fry or whatever. Can I just wash this wooden spoon?
100%.
Even though it absorbs more.
You have to go according to the majority of time.
What about if it's 50-50? You're absolutely sure it's 50-50.
If you know for sure it's 50-50, I believe there is different opinions, but in that case you should make it kosher.
Or you just use it one
But
more.
can you make
Oh yeah, you did it right.
can
You
you
did it
make
one more.
a wooden spoon kosher?
Apparently.
Yeah, you
Well,
could.
yeah.
You can?
Yeah, you could. There's no problem, 100%.
So
Unless,
also you boil
Thank God
it
for dollar stores.
if you use it for hot?
yes. Yes, you could. Yes.
If it's a plastic bowls
Yes.
that I sometimes I put lemon on it, like
Yes.
to make dressing. Can I use them for Pesach?
No plastic, no.
Well, there's no problem with plastic. When it's cold, everything is cold.
Yes, yeah.
If it's cold, it doesn't
Make
absorb.
dressings and.
It doesn't absorb.
You have to
There's no
keep it
problem.
transparent
As long as it does not
because
absorb, it's cold, it's not
otherwise you
100%
can
fine.
lemon.
Even if
the
it's lemon.
Ashkenazi has different laws.
Lemon juice?
Lemon juice.
Anyways, lemon juice is not chametz. What is there in lemon juice that will make it
No,
chametz?
like dressing or.
With what type of dressing? Yeah, but anyways, it's all cold.
For example, probably I have something from, I don't know, like Tupperware, a really expensive dressing maker. In it goes only the following ingredients: olive oil,
Yes.
which is kosher Pesach, even though it's regular
Yeah.
olive oil, balsamic vinegar, which is always kosher Pesach, salt, pepper. Okay, pepper is not kosher Pesach, but I'm sure there's not an issue.
Right.
Because it's cold.
And lemon juice, which is okay. Mayonnaise, which apparently, according to Sfaradim, I didn't know is okay.
Mayonnaise?
Regular mayonnaise can be.
Well, it depends which mayonnaise. There is.
He has a name.
Hellmann's?
He has a name.
Yeah.
Hellmann's, yeah.
But the next few days, I'm going to. This list will come up. Yes.
So this particular thing, and I wash it always. So that was my question originally, because it's plastic,
Mhm.
and I wash it always in my par sink, with obviously not boiling water, just like warm water and a sponge and everything. Even if the sponge already touched chametz,
Yes.
he says I can use it on Pesach. This
Even though
container,
that
if
it
it's
can
clean.
go sometimes to the dishwasher?
I never put it in the dishwasher, but even if it goes in the dishwasher, I think so too, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So I use that same one on
Yeah.
Pesach.
Good. Okay. Yeah, because I
So-
have so many.
Yeah. So you see that basically it's very important to remember that, because sometimes you have guys that are out there that give us this is the way to kosher your kitchen, but I think it's each one has to figure out by himself or herself how to kosher their kitchen depending on how they use their kitchen. It's important to know the rules and then to apply it to our kitchen. So to give you some examples, the fridge. There's nothing wrong with the fridge. I mean, if you have chametz in your fridge, what are you supposed to do?
Get rid of it.
Get to clean it. Okay.
You don't absorb?
What? It's
No.
not absorbed.
It's cold.
It's a fridge. It's cold.
Yeah.
There's nothing inside. You take your oven. Okay. If it's a self-clean oven, it's pretty straightforward. You just put it on self-clean and you clean. If it's not self-clean, what you're supposed to do is, we spoke about it. First of all, you have to wait 24.
No, first you clean
You
it.
clean it. You wait 24 hours. After 24 hours, when there is no more chametz in it, what are you supposed to do? You turn it on, make sure that it's hot. Some will wait an hour, and then after that, it's 100%
Which
kasher.
temperature
lepes.
should
The
be?
highest.
highest.
temperature.
Yeah.
The highest temperature.
And then you wipe again?
And then
And
after
wash
that,
it.
yeah, you wash it again after, and it's kasher. Lepesach. Yes.
The self-cleaning oven.
Yes.
You have to wait also 24 hours
No.
before?
You don't have to
No,
wait.
no.
Because it's very high degree. I believe it's up to 800 degrees.
Yeah.
It's very, very hot. It burns everything, and then you could use it 100%, no problem.
And the olive oil, you said anyone is okay.
Yes,
What about the other ones, sunflowers?
no problem,
Also you can?
no problem. Any
Okay.
pure
Pure.
oil
Yeah.
is 100%, no problem. Vegetable oil, corn oil is 100% fine with a hechsher
Of
that you
course.
have without
Of course.
kasher lepesach, just a hechsher, 100% fine.
White vinegar.
White vinegar should be, I think it should be okay. I will double check. I think it should be fine. Yes.
Some people
with the
doesn't use
oven,
vinegar.
What is it?
with the
Some
oven,
people doesn't
once
use
With
you
the-
vinegar.
yes.
finish at the highest for 1
We
hour,
don't.
Yeah.
do you need to wait 24 hours to start cooking?
After, no, if you waited already 20, you cleaned.
Yeah.
You waited 24 hours, then you make it kosher.
Yeah.
That's it. After that, immediately you could start your your cooking for Pesach. Okay. The counters. Really, the counters. I don't want to shock you, but unless you put the chametz directly
Yeah.
on it,
Hot.
right? Hot chametz on it.
נכון.
You don't have to do anything. What you have to do is
Hot
make
water.
sure that not even hot water. Really, באמת, you don't need to have hot
And a
water.
hot pot was chametz. It
So
should touch.
if it touches, you know what? Better maybe to be stringent about it than put hot water. Okay, but really the problem is when it touches chametz directly touches the
Counted.
counter.
And the material doesn't matter, formic or plastic or marble.
No problem. If it's for marca, it's fine to kosher it. If it is plastic, as long plastic, by the way, just generally speaking, all depends. If by putting the plastic into hag'ala, it's going to ruin it. Obviously, you shouldn't make it kosher lepesa. But if it is hard,
You can cover
Can
it.
you cover just with foil and that's it?
yes, you could cover it just with
Clean
foil.
it and counter.
Clean and cover.
But
I don't
then
want to pour water.
With scotch tape.
you could cover it, and then what you should do is, out of precaution, don't put directly something on it, but rather have what do they call it?
Coasters, like-
A coaster, exactly. You should put a coaster,
Trivets, trivets.
and then on top of it put your food, and it's
What I
100%
used to
fine.
do in Mexico, it was I put plastic in my counter
Yes,
and stick here like the plastic that you use on the table.
right.
I used to put it in my counter for all Pesach.
Yeah, that's you could do that. But other than that, you're 100% fine as far as the counters go, as far as the fridge goes, as far as the oven goes. Now, microwave, for example, for Sfaradim, it's 100% fine. Some Ashkenazim will permit it as well. What you have to do is the same idea, kebol'o, kach polto, the same way that it absorbs. This is the way it's going to release the taste. So how would you do it with a microwave oven?
Hot water.
Exactly. You have
Just
to clean it. You have to wait 24 hours. After you clean it and you wait 24 hours, you take water
With salt.
with some soap inside it. You put it inside your microwave.
Foam.
You make sure that it boils, and that makes it kasher lepesach, because again, it's the same way that it absorbs. That's the way it's going to release it. Okay.
If we decide at the last minute to travel and go somewhere, can I, after Pesach start, can I do just a gala? Like kasher?
Where with the place that you go, 100%.
Yeah.
Chol Hamoed?
Even though it's Chol Hamoed, yeah,
Chol Hamoed?
you can kosher there.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Chol Hamoed, 100%.
How about the sink, Rabbi?
The sink. So the sink, the same thing. What we do with the sink is we boil water in it,
Clean it.
clean it first of all, wait 24 hours. During these 24 hours, you could use it with cold water, not hot water. And then after 24 hours, what you do is you take you boil water in a kettle, right? And you pour water all over the sink, on the sides of the sink, in the middle of the sink, everywhere, and that makes it 100% kasher,
You have to make sure that you go area by area.
area by
And
area.
you pour cold water right after or no?
Yes, it is customary immediately after to pour cold water whenever we do hagala.
Like from the top.
From the tap.
Mm.
From the tap, yes. Good?
How about the stove?
Yeah, it's the same.
Same thing, yeah.
And the stove?
The stove,
Yeah.
what you do with the stove is you clean it very, very well. And then after that, you turn on the fire to the highest
Element.
degree, the element. And after that, when it's really hot, that's it, you turn it
When it's
off.
For how long?
Just
A few
minutes.
minutes.
Till it's red.
Till
It's
it's red.
electric till it's
Electric?
red.
Yeah,
And the gas just.
And you don't need to cover. You don't need to cover.
you don't need to cover. As long as it's clean, you're 100% fine. You want to cover, go ahead and cover. But you don't need to, as long as it is clean, there's no chametz in it,
How?
you're 100% fine.
Clean it after.
Okay, so for glass, our minhag
Glass what? Glass stove?
Stove.
glass stove,
Like
Okay.
okay, or glass in general,
All glasses.
right? Glass in general or a glass stove.
Induction.
is 100% fine. You don't need to do anything. What you have to do is just
Wash.
clean it very well, and then it's 100% fine. And by the way, the same thing will apply for Pyrex. Let's say you have Pyrex, and it's again 100% clean. You could use that Pyrex for Pesach. Why? Because the Gemara says that when it comes to glass, Shia velo bala, it does not absorb. Okay,
Glass
Ashkenazim.
dishes, glasses to drink with, all the same.
All
Right.
the glasses.
Right.
Blech.
What is it?
Blech.
The blech. What you have to do with the blech, if you don't put any chametz directly on it, you could use it. What you could do is what they'll do is they'll boil water and put it on top of it all over. And that
Can you?
what?
Can you?
Can you?
Because it's at the
Bahut.
Yeah.
No, not the electric plata.
Ah, yes, the
No?
plata.
I'm thinking about the
Okay, so
Well,
the
electric
electric plata is what we do is we cover it with
2
Because
times.
my
Foil?
kids put challah,
Yeah, me
tofu
too.
on
Yeah.
Shabbat.
Yeah.
Me
Right.
too.
Yeah.
So it's
So you
directly
clean
on.
it and you cover it. That's
cover
it.
it.
Cover it and that's
I
it.
Yeah.
clean it first with
Glass.
easy off.
Yeah.
I clean it really well, the best I can,
Yeah.
and then I cover it with foil, and that's it.
So you
Yes.
You
do
did
boil.
it already? No.
No, we didn't do it yet. No,
Do
still have to.
you pour boil water?
No,
No.
No, because
No.
it's
I'm gonna
electric.
ruin it.
Right. So
But
like
even
Yeah.
if it's glass, if
Yeah.
it's glass, you don't have
Even it's a glass.
if it's glass, you don't have to.
Once I pour hot water.
You shouldn't pour. I don't think you should pour water on top of electrical appliances. It's not so safe.
Yeah.
Okay, so
It's not fun, that's it.
easy off, yeah, it's good, and then you cover it. Now, I believe we went through all the different. Well, we gave some examples of utensils that you have how to kosher them. Any questions? No, it's good. Okay, so let's move on. So, what is considered chametz? Chametz is really, we know that we have 5 grains. That from those 5 grains, this is what is considered chametz. However, if you have chametz that is not edible, is it considered chametz? Yes or no?
Like what?
Like
Like what?
Like kids Play-Doh.
Oh,
Play-Doh is edible.
Play-Doh, right?
Yes?
Yes. Yeah. So Play-Doh you
Even
put.
though that it's smelly and
It's
Yeah.
sweet?
edible.
Yeah, but you put it, the Play-Doh you put away. But I'll give you another example. Let's say you have
Toothpaste.
toothpaste,
Is the-
Right?
I know this.
or you have shampoo,
Yeah.
or yeah, toothpaste that has chametz in it,
or makeup.
or makeup that has chametz in it.
How
Or
you know
perfume.
there is chametz?
What is it?
By reading?
Yeah, sometimes you could.
Ingredient?
Yes. Or for example, you have perfume that has chametz in it. Perfume definitely has chametz in it because it's made out of alcohol, and the alcohol is extracted from wheat.
So those things what I have.
So it's 100%
Vodka.
fine
Huh?
to use it on Pesach for Sfaradim.
Ah, good.
Oh, so
Okay.
you can use it.
You-
Put
Ashkenazim
it
don't,
away.
right?
They put away alcohol, rubbing alcohol. You know the alcohol you put
I
on
was
your.
thinking, oh my
Really?
god.
They put that away. They put all nail polish away. They put the nail polish remover.
The,
so
the
many things that have-
oatmeal cream.
So anything
Ah.
that,
Aveno?
Oatmeal cream, Aveno. Oh, I didn't think
Which
about
one?
that.
okay, so anything that
Aveno? Oatmeal cream.
that again, anything that has chametz in it, but you will not
Eat
consume, you will not eat it,
Uh-huh.
is 100% fine on
Good, so that
Pesach
one is
for Sfaradim. There are, by the way, some Ashkenazim, some Ashkenazi authorities who also permit it. For example, there's a famous story about Rav Yosef Dov Soloveitchik. Rav Soloveitchik once taught his students in Yeshiva University. He told them that according to his opinion, toothpaste is 100% fine. And why? Because since a dog will not eat toothpaste, it's not considered chametz. So the story goes that one of his students had a dog, and he tried it. He put some toothpaste, and the dog ate it. So he came to the Rosh Hashiva next day. He says, respectfully, my dog ate it. He says, your dog is crazy. A normal dog will not eat this toothpaste, and it's 100% fine. So toothpaste that has chametz in it is no problem. Shampoo or anything else you could have, let's say,
Detergent for dishes?
detergent for dishes. There's no problem really with that. It's 100% fine to use.
It is recommended to have a new one.
A
New dish detergent,
Yes.
new toothpaste for
New
Pesach.
toothbrush.
New toothbrush for sure, yes, because
Yeah.
you know you're using it and the chametz maybe gets stuck in the bristles. But new toothpaste, new dishwashing liquid, new I don't know what, not new shampoo, but
Sugar.
is it recommended? Like,
No. So the only thing we recommend, I'll tell you.
Not even the mivashet,
What about new denture?
No, I
because
think-
you clean it and it's cold.
Yeah,
Right,
but
so-
there might be some
Sorry, but
chametz
it's,
stuck in there.
You know what? It's a
I
precaution that
always
we're
think
taking, but I really don't know if according. I don't think according to halakha you'll have to change really to your toothbrush. But however.
יש לי אחד.
Okay, but the fact is, by the way, you don't need. The only thing we recommend to do out of stringency is, for example, if you have anything that doesn't have chametz. For example, I'll give you a case. You have, let's say, lemon juice. Lemon juice that you buy in the market and it says 100% pure lemon juice is kasher lePesach. You don't need a special hechsher for Pesach. However, before
You
Pesach,
don't need one.
no, you don't need. However, before Pesach, it is good to have a new bottle that you start with because maybe there's a possibility that there is
That when you were
maybe
using it,
chametz in
something
it.
fell inside.
Maybe, but it's a precaution that we're taking. But when it comes to shampoo or anything else, which chametz will it be? And even if there is chametz, are you going to eat the chametz that is in the shampoo? No, there's no problem. So according to this, cosmetics. And by the way, just for you to know, for the women, cosmetics are not allowed on Shabbat. We cannot put makeup on Shabbat because of tzovea, because of coloring, which is or dyeing,
But
which is
before
one of
Shabbat, if you put your makeup on
100%,
before
no problem.
And is
Before
there
Shabbat,
any like powder that you can wear?
on
I
Shabbat,
heard that, yes.
Yeah, loose powder.
loose powder, yeah, loose powder is no
No
problem
oil.
with that.
It's
Yes,
okay?
yes. If there's no,
Like the blush?
Blush, if it's pressed blush, it's a problem. Anything pressed means
Right,
that they compacted it with oil,
right,
and therefore it's called smearing.
right.
But if it's a loose powder, it's like if you spill it, it's gonna fall like flour,
Mm.
right? It's gonna fall
Yeah.
like that.
So then the
It's
eyeshadow
called
you're
loose
not
powder.
allowed.
Eyeshadow, you're not allowed.
No,
It's
there
called
is
loose powder.
also. There is some that is.
Yeah, if it's loose
don't need
powder,
loose.
then you could. Yeah.
I know that I heard that you can't some
Yes,
I
if-
didn't
if-
know.
100%. If it's powder and has no cream in it,
Yeah.
it's 100%.
Hola moed, fine.
Chol hamoed, no problem. Yes.
I read somewhere that the loose powder is allowed, but only if it adds no color.
Adds no color to.
Yes. So meaning
Uh-huh.
that blush and eyeshadow would not be allowed. So why?
Which loose powder
The
has no
difference.
color?
Yeah, that's
It
question.
absorbs your oil.
Transparent?
It's more
No.
for shine.
Yeah.
It absorbs your oil.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So
So
you're
I have
using it
one
just
of
for a matte
those,
base
which I
versus the
don't
shine
actually use because I just don't like it. But I just want to know in terms of Chahad, Minhagim, and everything, why the difference? Because from what I read, if adds color, then it's asur.
Right, but the fact is, there's not a problem with it, which is memareach maybe, which is smearing on Shabbat. If
If it's
it's
loose
a
powder, you're
cream,
not smearing.
right? So
Which
if
one
it's
is loose powder?
loose powder,
Also loose powder. Is it?
I just remember Revlon. I remember Revlon. It was like a big tub like that, and it's mamash loose, like
Yeah.
it's like flour inside, and you just put your brush, and it just flies on top
It
of you.
takes
But
the oil away.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Miriam, in terms of your question, like so, how according to what you read, how would you then explain the Shabbat makeup? That the kosher Shabbat makeup that people in New York make and sell,
Yeah.
which is all made of loose powder, no oil base or whatever, that all has color. So women have lipsticks and eyeshadows, and it's all kosher for
I've
Shabbat.
never heard of it.
Right.
Yes.
yeah.
So
So that's
I only am confused and I would like to know like some more on the different.
right. So as long as it is, as it was mentioned, loose powder, which is not really cream, it should be.
No
it's
cream,
100%.
right? Cream?
No cream. Cream is
cream.
not Shabbat.
Lip balm,
not.
It's
No.
cream.
It's a
even
cream.
if you
It's
do it
oily.
differently, put here and
Yeah.
then
So
put here.
no.
Yeah, well, tell me.
What I learned is if you're not smearing.
Oh,
So I do like this. If my lips are really dry, if I really need it in the winter, I do this, and then I just do like that.
Something
And
like
then
that.
it's
What if you use
So I'm not-
olive oil
Yeah,
for
yeah.
this purpose?
olive oil.
Like, what if you use like olive oil? Like on Shabbos, I use olive. Like, I dip my finger in olive oil when I do that
That's fine.
because it's a moisturizer.
That's fine.
It's liquid.
But it's liquid.
Liquid.
It's not.
That-
So that's
that's
okay.
okay.
It's
Yeah.
not
That's fine.
considered like cream?
No.
No.
Okay, I
Which
always
one?
use a neutrogena oil. Almond Neutrogena oil.
What is it?
Oh, almond?
Yeah,
It's
almond.
a cream.
No,
No, but-
Neutrogena is the company.
Right, but
It's an oil.
it's
I'm allowed to put it on?
how thick is it?
But you're not, if you're doing this, you cannot.
No, but if you just
But if you're doing this,
just packing.
Tap it.
tapping, you can.
But you have to make sure that you don't start.
Yeah, exactly. If you're doing everywhere, you're more likely somehow to
It's
spread.
like drying your hands
Yeah.
with a towel.
So
Right.
argan oil would be okay then as well, guys?
What is it?
Argan oil?
Argan oil, I think so as well. I think it should be okay.
Yeah, I
It's
think it
not
should be fine.
100%. Should be fine. Yeah. Now coming back to chametz. So all types of these cosmetics are 100% fine. Even a lipstick or again perfumes and so on and so forth, because it is not edible. It's not cannot be consumed by a dog, and therefore because of that it's okay. Ashkenazim are more stringent about it because of the fact that they say that you could extract the chametz out of it, and that is why they are more stringent about it. And that is why you have a list out there that you could find in different Pesach guides telling you this is okay, this is not okay for Sfaradim, it will not apply. All these different products are 100% fine for Sfaradim. Yes, Dina?
What about medication?
Okay, very good. So medication, if you
Or
have...
vitamins, medication.
Okay, so medication you should avoid on Pesach because after all you are swallowing it. However, if it is something that is essential to take on Pesach and there's no
Like for your health.
for your health and there is 100% chametz in it, okay, and there's nothing else to replace it with that doesn't have chametz, since it does not have any flavor, it's 100% fine to use on Pesach.
Like
I will
lemon
use
pops.
the Rav Soloveitchik argument. My dog doesn't lick pills on the floor, which means that it's okay to take it.
Well,
Because
any
it's not a
pill.
food. Yeah.
Okay.
The dog is in the pharmacy and there was unfortunately pills on the floor, and I saw the dog lick the pill and let it.
Okay.
Yeah, which means doesn't eat. They are not food.
Right.
Should not be considered.
Okay, so the thing is, we are more stringent about it because after all, you are
Swallowing.
swallowing. So it goes into your
So
system.
where's the list of the
Okay.
medication?
What about pet
On
food?
the OU website?
I believe so. Yes, the OU website has it.
Pet food. Pet food. No.
What is it?
Pet food.
Pet food. Okay, very good, excellent. Pet food. There's two issues with pet food. During the year, if someone has a pet, for example, a dog or a cat, you have to make sure that there's no mixture of meat and milk in that food, because we cannot benefit from meat and milk mixtures. That's one problem for during the year. On Pesach as well, there's a problem if there is chametz in it. You have to make sure that you go through the list and see that the pet food does not have any chametz in it. Okay.
The lizard eat crickets.
Okay, the crickets
That's
are
not
100% fine. There's no
It's
problem.
meat.
It's
It's
meat.
meat of
Kasher lepesach. Kasher lepesach. Okay. So here. Okay, so I think we finished all the idea, the koshering of the house for Pesach. So it shouldn't take so long, and it's not as difficult as we think it is. Yeah.
We didn't speak about porcelain. I know it.
Okay, porcelain. Okay, very good. So we should cover porcelain. Porcelain, there's a problem with porcelain if there is chametz that goes into the porcelain. If there's nothing chametz that goes on the porcelain, obviously you could use it for Pesach. If there is chametz that goes into the porcelain, there is a possibility that it's very, very hot chametz that will be absorbed in the porcelain, and therefore in that case you should have kasher lepesach. If it's porcelain, you shouldn't use it for Pesach. Yes, that's good. Okay. The crock pot. Well, the crock pot is a problem because it's porcelain, and if you put chametz in it,
Yeah, barley or that.
barley,
Yeah.
yeah,
And if I haven't used it like in long time.
Even,
make
doesn't
it
matter. Doesn't
Just
matter.
wait.
So
Yeah.
if you go somewhere else, you close your house, you sell your chametz, you still need to clean something?
One room.
One room.
One room.
Whichever.
If
The one
it's-
that you know that they have
Chametz,
flour.
yeah.
Your kitchen.
Exactly. So it all
It doesn't
depends.
have to
If
be your kitchen.
it could be any room.
It can be
Any
any
room.
room.
By the way, it depends. If someone leaves the house more than 30 days before Pesach, he doesn't have to check anything. If it's less than 30 days before Pesach, then you'll have to check at least one. Okay, one will be good enough. Yes.
If If I'm owned from a property that I'm not living there, do I have to sell for the hametz?
If it's something that you are owning,
It belongs me.
belongs to you.
No, but you're renting it.
Not anymore.
Okay.
Ah.
It's empty now.
If
They
it is,
left.
But is there something?
if there's chametz,
I don't know. I haven't gone. It's in Mexico.
You should have someone clean it.
okay. So no, in that case, if there's no one who's going to be there,
You
sell it.
close it and you sell
No,
it.
sell it.
Sell it. Sell it for Pesach. Sell the chametz that is in it. Yeah. Okay. Fine. So another thing is before Pesach, which is a misconception. People think that okay, so I'm cleaning for Pesach. Erev Pesach, I have the night before. What am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to check my house, and the custom is to put 10 different pieces of chametz in different rooms, and then to say the bracha and to look for the chametz. Now, what happens with that chametz? Right? I'm supposed to get rid of it. What am I supposed? Okay, so I burn it. Okay, but let's say I have more than these 10 pieces, and I have, let's say, a big piece of challah that stayed, and I cannot burn it.
Throw it out.
Throw it out. Okay. Some people, what they do is they think that I have to, I don't know, put it
Far, yes.
far or something like that.
Like the
You don't have
garbage.
to. You can put it in your own garbage. Why? Because since you are mafkir that chametz, which means that you are saying that this chametz is not considered, is not my chametz anymore. I say it, right? I proclaim that. So it's not considered your chametz anymore. Even if it's in your garbage, it's finished.
And if it's
Done.
like in one storage and I'm gonna sell that storage, it's okay if I have hametz gamur there?
Yes. It's 100% you have chametz gamur in it. If it is, you're gonna sell that storage, if you're gonna sell that place, you're gonna have.
And I can put a sign it's hametz.
Yes, yes. So what you have to do is before Pesach, you have an agent. Usually it's the rabbi, and the rabbi, on behalf of the community, what does the rabbi do? He sells it, a legal sale, according to halakha, according to Canadian law. He sells that chametz to the Gentile. There's a form that you have to fill, that you are saying inside it, and my address, and this, I have chametz, and so on and so forth. And this is a legal sale. It's not something that you have to make sure that when you are selling it, or when you are putting it, the rabbi is your shaliach, is your agent. You make sure that you know that you are selling the chametz, which means that the goy, right, is allowed to come on Pesach and to take that chametz. Yes.
The day before, when we were checking, was it mandatory to check with light or without light?
With
Oh.
light.
So
Because you didn't mention that.
okay, so you have to check the. It is customary to check it with candle. Okay. However, if it is dangerous in any way to use a candle, what you could use is as a flashlight.
Is it right to wrap that chametz
Yes.
before you place it?
Yeah.
Yes, you should wrap it. The custom is that you usually wrap it in a piece of paper,
All 10 pieces individually?
all 10 pieces individually. Someone places them, then you say the bracha and you go through the bdikat chametz. Yes.
So,
Yeah.
next morning when you burn those pieces,
Yes.
is it a minhag to do it with the lulav or no? To burn
Yes,
the
some
lulav?
have the minhag to do it with the lulav. In order for the lulav, because the lulav use it for a mitzvah. Now we are doing another mitzvah, which is to burn the chametz with the lulav together. We're doing another mitzvah with the lulav
And
and
also with the Hanukkah
candles.
candles, right?
Some do that as well. Some use the Hanukkah candles in order for them to do another mitzvah and to use it for the mitzvah of burning the chametz. Yes.
Do we unwrap the chametz?
No.
No,
Wait,
No,
so you
with
wrap it in
everything, with
paper,
the
right?
newspaper or the paper that you use. Yeah, good?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention about what you said about the garbage. Like if you have extra chametz and you throw it in the garbage and you put it outside, like that's different for Sfaradim and Ashkenazim. Because Ashkenazim will insist on getting rid of that garbage. So like in some cities they organize garbage pickup the day before Pesach. You know, so that it's all the garbage that has all the remnants of chametz is gone.
But let's say you don't have it, what are you going to do?
So they go and they dump it at the dump. There was a whole discussion last year in the school, and they would not believe me that I said we just put the garbage outside and leave it.
It
Like
doesn't belong to
it
me.
doesn't belong to me anymore. The garbage man, when he comes on his day, is going to take it away, and that's it. But it was a big thing.
Or is
Ashkenazim
it-
are very makpid on getting rid of all the garbage.
Or is
Okay.
it okay to put it in a public A public
Well,
garbage.
that's actually illegal. So you know you're not supposed to do that.
Follow
Yeah.
the Ashkenazi.
According to her husband. Everyone has to go according to
Yeah, even for the cleaning and all that.
the cleaning and all that.
He won't clean if I don't clean, so.
So, well, okay, so the question
No,
is,
you do, no,
No, no, you clean, but
But you clean his
So which
way.
way?
halachot.
ah,
clean
So
okay,
Arabic or Ashkenazi?
that's a good question. That's a good question. What happens?
Well, who knows more? Let's put it that way.
She.
It's like my sister. My sister is
Yeah,
Sephardi and she
yeah.
married an Ashkenaz, but he
Yeah.
knows nothing. So everything in the house is Sephardi. Everything.
That's
But
what I
even though
did.
she's supposed to be Ashkenaz.
Okay,
It's like her.
Yeah.
That's good.
okay, but the question is, when you got married, what was the Hava Amina? What was the original?
Nothing.
Nothing. There was nothing.
So choose
Okay.
now.
Okay.
Choose
Okay.
now.
Choose
So
to be
I would say,
Sephardic.
yeah, in this
Easier.
case, you could choose. You could
And
choose.
also she can have rights.
Huh?
No, no.
Oh,
we discussed
rice.
the rights already.
Rice is already a big.
Now,
Uy,
Yeah.
Michal.
Yeah.
I know one question, but I
Yeah.
want to hear.
Yeah.
Why we putting 10 pieces of bread
It's a good.
around the house?
It's a good question.
Why 10 or why the bread?
Why 10 and why the bread and
Okay.
why then we
Okay.
look for it and we
Yeah.
Okay, so why do we use chametz? We put chametz around. It
because
is.
that's after you cleaned already.
Okay, because after you clean already, and the assumption is that you will not find any chametz when you clean, and therefore you're saying a bracha. What's the bracha? That we are going to be meva'er the chametz. We're going to get rid of the chametz. We're going to burn the chametz. If you don't have any chametz, what are you going to be burning?
Yeah.
So that is why you have to have some chametz. Now, why 10? Minhag. It's a minhag.
Yeah, I also read
Yes.
that when you do that and you look with the candle,
Yeah.
they say candle nishmat ner Hashem
Shmat
nishmat
Adam.
Adam, and you have to look inside your soul and take all the chametz out,
Yes, the ego.
the ego and everything. They think it all about that,
very
and
good.
that's what it represents.
Very good. So it brought down in
So
the.
you burn all the chametz inside.
Ah.
Be humble, be nice, be kind, be all those kind of.
What about the
So-
people who have no chametz inside like you? What about that?
There's no such a
Ah.
thing.
So,
Alvai.
so it's brought down in these Farim HaKadoshim, the holy books and the Hasidic books, that there's the idea that as you are burning the chametz, you have to meditate, you have to think about your chametz, about your ego, and get rid of it. It says it clearly. Actually, the Ben Ish Chai says a beautiful pshat. It says Or le'arba'a asar, that we mentioned earlier in the Mishnah, that prior to the day of the 14th, we have to on the night of the 14th, we're supposed to check the house for chametz. So the Ben Ish Chai says it's talking about someone who is becoming a bar mitzvah, right? And what is the idea? He says or represents Torah. When someone is turning bar mitzvah, what is he supposed to do? He's supposed to take the candle, which is the Torah, the mitzvot, and with that, what is he supposed to do? Botkin et chametz. He has to check the chametz. Chametz represents what? The Yetzer Hara. And with the or of Torah mitzvot, you have to check for the Yetzer Hara, the idea of ego, and you have to burn it. That's what the Mishnah says. This is the deeper level.
Something just a practical thing not to forget, we tend to forget, the vacuum cleaner bag.
Right.
The vacuum cleaner bag at the last minute, throw it out with your garbage and
But-
put a new one.
And I would add on and I'd say that even if there is chametz, I don't think
If
it's
you forget.
if it's edible.
If you forget, you've also, what's the word, nullified it. You've also
You
nullified
nullified it.
it. If you forget, but it's better not to forget.
Okay. But I'm saying even if I don't know if there is any the dog will eat any the
For
how
your
do you call
own
it?
good.
For your own good. Okay.
If there is no bread in the house, you still buy some bread to put the 10 pieces?
Yes. Yes. The minhag is minhag Israel to have the
And
10.
buy pita, because pita makes no crumbs.
Okay. So that's that. I think
Practical tip number 2.
Okay, so I think we prepared ourselves for Pesach. I'll just take a few minutes just to finish with the following, just the Seder itself, a quick view or idea of how we're supposed to conduct the Seder. We have many mitzvot to do during the Seder. I would say that all mitzvot are important, but the main mitzvah, one of the main mitzvot is v'higata lebincha bayom hahu, to say the story that happened to our forefathers, right? Which means that we have to be ready to say over the story. If there's people around the table, the Rambam says, according to the level of the people who are around the table. If someone is an adult and you can understand it on a deeper level, obviously you're supposed to say it on a deeper level. If it is a child, so what are you supposed to do? You have to say it according to the age of the child, according to comprehension, the understanding of that child. This is the way you're supposed to recount the story, right? Because it says clearly, right? A person has to see himself כאילו הוא יצא ממצרים, as if he came out of Egypt. And the idea of Mitzrayim is the idea also of Metzarim. What is Metzarim? Metzarim is a place that is very concealed or very limited. You have to come out of that limitation, which means not just for yourself, but people who are around the table. It's so important to say over the story of the Seder that it says, the Gemara says that if someone is alone, and hopefully a Jew will not be alone, but let's say a person finds himself alone for the Seder, what is he supposed to do? To who is he supposed to say the story? To himself. In order just to continue on with this tradition of V'higata lebincha bayom hahu. So this is the mitzvah. But there's other mitzvot that we're supposed to do. So quickly, how do we start the Seder? So we'll go through the Seder Kaddish. First thing is we have to be Mekadesh, sanctify. How do we sanctify the Seder? With grape juice or with wine. And how do we do it? We do it leaning on the left side. Why are you supposed to lean on the left side? Because the idea is that we are Bnei Chorim. We are like free people. Someone who's free, who's like a king or a queen. What did the kings used to do in the olden days? They used to be comfortable leaning on the left side. So we start the Seder leaning on the left side and drinking the wine. Urchaz, the next thing we do is we wash our hands. We wash our hands, netilat yadayim, but we don't say the bracha. Why don't we say the bracha? Because we have, as we know, the Gemara speaks about it, we have certain liquids that are metameh yadayim that could make our hands impure. So for the year, by the way, also, the same halacha applies. Someone has, for example, an apple, he washes the apple. If he wants to eat this apple, he's supposed to wash his hands netilat yadayim without the bracha before eating the apple, or dry the apple and then eat it. And that is why in this case we have to wash our hands without blessing, because the next thing on the Seder is karpas. What do we do with the karpas? The idea of the karpas is we take a piece of celery, we dip it in salt water. The salt water represents the tears that Am Yisrael had. They were crying, and then because of that we have to wash our hands. We say Borei Peri Ha'adama on the karpas. It has to be a small piece of karpas in order for us not to say bracha achrona, the blessing after that. So it's a small piece of karpas. The next thing we do is, yes?
Just on the karpas, Sephardim use celery, that's the standard.
You could use any vegetable really.
Use parsley or potato or I don't know what's the other one they told me today. Parsley, potato.
Carrot, some people use.
Carrot, yeah, there's a few other examples, I forgot what now.
Any other vegetable will work. The custom for us is usually celery. Okay? Yachatz.
Also
because of the salt in the celery.
Yeah, but some the Irakim,
If my kids
they put in
understand
lemon.
English,
And what is it? Iraqi, what do you do?
They dip it in lemon.
They dip in lemon.
Yeah,
Okay.
more sour.
Yes?
if they understand English, it's okay if they follow in English.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have to understand what you're saying. So it's Hebrew,
It's
English,
more
Spanish.
important to read it in your own language that you understand the most than reading it in Hebrew.
And not understand.
Yeah.
And not understand. Right? Next thing is yachatz, which is you take the middle matzah and you have to break it. Some try to break it into a hey,
Or yud.
yud, right? And a dalet. And if you could do it, that is great. The next thing is magid. We spoke about it. To say the Haggadah over, to relate the mitzvah of V'higata lebincha bayom hahu. Yes.
Just about the yachatz.
Yes.
Is it only Sephardi that it's representing the Kriyat Yam Suf? Like we say that, right?
Right, we do.
But Ashkenazim don't seem to know that.
That's what it's in the Kriyat Yam Suf.
That it's connected to the, when you split the matzah, that it's connected to the splitting of the sea.
Right.
So is it a Sephardi thing?
I believe so.
Ah.
It's a Sephardi custom to say that, right? Then after that, after Magid, next thing is the Seudah itself, which is washing your hands again, this time with bracha of Al Netilat Yadayim, because we're going to be eating the matzah. Next thing is we do Motzi Lechem Min Haaretz and Motzi Matzah. We have the 2.5 matzot in our hands. And then after that, after we say the blessing, the first blessing, we let go of the matzah, the third matzah, and then we say the other bracha, and we eat, in that case, how many kazetim? 2 kazetim, the kazait of Motzi Lechem Min Haaretz and the kazait of Motzi Matzah. So all together, 2 alechem matzah. We have to eat 2 kazetim in this case, 2 ounces.
Is it 28?
28 grams, but multiplied by 2.
So how big? If this is the regular size of the matzah, we're eating.
We're in the round
handmade.
usually, the handmade.
Oh, so the handmade matzah shmura.
So it's almost one whole one.
Is it so even for Sephardim? For Sephardim?
Oh,
But you
so
have
how
to,
much
if
we
you don't, then-
okay? So how much are we supposed to eat? We
The
eat.
first 9, it's better to try the better.
Okay, so we have mitzvah midoraita. What we're supposed to eat is 2 kazetim. How much is 2 kazetim? It varies. It's around 3/4 to a whole matzah shmura. The round matzah.
I can wait it.
You can wait if you want.
Yeah.
28
28 multiplied by 2 in this
by
case.
2?
Yes.
For the whole seder?
No.
No.
For the whole seder you need 4.
4.
Okay? 2 in the beginning. Then after that we have the maror after motzi matzah. The maror you need kazait of maror with some charoset in it. Okay? But you have to really taste the taste of the maror, which means that you have to have the charoset with it. You have to shake the charoset off to have a little bit of the charoset. The idea of the charoset, it represents the teeth, the how do you call it?
The
mortar that they used in Mitzrayim, and therefore, but you have to really taste the bitterness of the maror, and you need a kazait of maror in it. In this case, a kazait of maror is, I would say, 1 leaf, 1 big leaf of. If you use lettuce, this is what we use. 1 leaf.
Tri li 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 li